You drive the same road to work every morning. You know every bump, every bend, every set of lights. Then one day, there's a new pothole. A week later, there are two more. The council patches one of them badly and the other just sits there collecting rainwater. After a while, you stop noticing. The road doesn't stop getting worse. Multiply that by every street in your town, every town in your county, every county in England. What's happening to that road outside your house is happening to water pipes, hospitals, power stations, flood barriers and bridges across the country. The people responsible for fixing it are running out of money, running out of time, or both. This video covers 7 warning signs, all backed by official data from 2024 to 2026. Some you'll have seen in the news. Others are buried in maintenance reports and budget spreadsheets that most people never read. Taken together, they tell a story that is becoming very difficult to explain away. Britain's local roads are falling apart faster than anyone can keep up with. The Asphalt Industry Alliance publishes an annual survey of road conditions, and the 2025 edition put the repair backlog at £16.81 billion. By the time the 2026 report came out, it had climbed to £18.62 billion. That is the bill to bring local roads back to an acceptable standard. Not good, acceptable. More than half the local road network now has fewer than 15 years of structural life remaining. 1 road in 6 has fewer than 5. In some areas, councils have stopped trying to prevent failure and are instead waiting for roads to deteriorate beyond use before acting, because the budget is not there to do anything else. Councils filled 1.9 million potholes last year. The AA was called out to 137,000 pothole incidents in January and February of 2025 alone. By February 2026, the RAAC reported pothole breakdowns had risen 241% compared to the same month the year before. Despite all that work, 94% of highway maintenance teams said conditions still had not improved. The holes are being filled, but the roads underneath are still degrading. That is the difference between repair and maintenance. Britain is doing the first because it can no longer afford the second. At current resurfacing rates, the average local road receives a new surface once every 93 years. In 2024, raw sewage was discharged into England's rivers, lakes, and coastal waters for 3.61 million hours, the highest figure ever recorded by the Environment Agency. 450,000 individual spill events from 14,000 storm overflows. Each overflow discharged an average of 31 times during the year, with each spill lasting roughly 8 hours. Only 12.5% of overflows did not spill at all. The system designed to stop sewage becoming routine pollution is now spilling so often that failure no longer looks exceptional. It looks normal. At the same time, the water industry was losing 2,869 megalitres of treated drinking water every day through leaking pipes. That is about a fifth of everything put into the system, seeping into the ground through infrastructure that in some cases dates back to the Victorian era. Thames Water alone leaks 590 megalitres a day. Since privatisation in 1991, an estimated 41 trillion litres of treated water have been lost to leaks across the industry. During that same period, the companies paid out tens of billions in dividends to shareholders. The Environment Secretary called the 2024 figures disgraceful. Those figures came out of pipes that nobody replaced while the profits were being extracted. Bills, meanwhile, are rising. Ofwat's latest price review confirmed that average water bills in England and Wales will increase by 36% before inflation between now and 2030. Thames Water supplies about a quarter of England's population, 15 million customers across London and the Thames Valley, and it is for all practical purposes insolvent. By the end of 2025, the company's net debt had reached £17.6 billion. It had drawn down nearly all of a £1.5 billion emergency loan to keep operating. A £4 billion rescue led by KKR collapsed in June 2025. Creditors including Apollo and BlackRock are now attempting a recapitalisation that would require senior bondholders to accept a 20% loss on their holdings. Ofwat has fined Thames a combined £122.7 million, £104.5 million for sewage failings, the largest penalty in the regulator's history, plus another £18.2 million for paying dividends. It was not legally entitled to distribute. The company has been sanctioned 98 times since 2010. Thames Water is not a small regional operator. It serves customers from Oxford to the Thames estuary. If it enters special administration, which remains a genuine possibility, the government would have to step in. The Water Special Measures Act 2025 already grants administrators powers extending to nationalisation. If the company fails, the question is not whether people still get water tomorrow. The question is who pays, who controls it, and how much worse the system gets before anyone addresses it. The NHS maintenance backlog has reached £15.9 billion, according to the official audit of NHS building conditions published for 2024 to 25. The total annual cost of running the NHS estate is £14 billion. The repair backlog has overtaken the running costs. Within that £15.9 billion, £3.5 billion is classified as high risk, meaning it poses a direct danger to patient safety. Failing electrical systems, deteriorating roofwork, unsafe ventilation, all within the buildings where people go to be kept alive. That high-risk category rose 28% in a single year. Lord Darcy's independent review of the NHS identified a £37 billion capital shortfall, accumulated over years of raiding investment budgets to cover day-to-day spending. Schools face similar problems. The maintenance backlog across England's schools stands at £13.8 billion, according to a National Audit Office report from January 2025. 700,000 children are learning in buildings that need major rebuilding or refurbishment. 237 schools still contain RAAC, the reinforced autoclaved aerated concrete that made headlines in 2023. That material was designed to last 30 years. Some of it has been in place for more than 50. By October 2025, only 62 of those schools had been fully remediated. The government's deadline for complete removal is 2029. On the night of the 20th of March 2025, a transformer caught fire at the North Hyde substation in Hayes, West London. Within hours, Heathrow Airport was shut down. Over 1,000 flights were cancelled. More than 200,000 passenger journeys were disrupted. 16,300 homes lost power. The Heathrow Express and parts of the Elizabeth line stopped running. A single fire at a single substation took one of the world's busiest airports offline for 16 hours. The substation was 57 years old, but age was not the central issue. When the National Energy System Operator published its investigation in July 2025, it found that National Grid had known about a fault in that transformer since 2018. Excess moisture had been detected in the bushings, a known precursor to this type of failure. The substation's fire suppression system had been inoperable since at least 2022. For 3 years, one of the key substations feeding Heathrow Airport had no working fire protection. The fault was never repaired. The substation was never taken offline. And then it caught fire. The Energy Secretary described the incident as catastrophic. Ofcom opened a formal investigation. The broader concern is how many other substations across the grid are carrying similar known faults that have not been addressed. The UK's electricity connection queue peaked at over 700 gigawatts in 2024. Roughly 4 times the capacity the country is projected to need by 2050. The grid is being asked to carry more load on infrastructure that is aging faster than it is being replaced. Heathrow demonstrated that a single failure at a single node can shut down systems that millions of people depend on. Storm Bert struck the UK between the 22nd and 25th of November 2024. According to the Met Office, roughly 680 properties were flooded in England and 433 in Wales. 5 people died. 350,000 homes lost power. A major incident was declared in Northamptonshire. Pontypridd in South Wales was badly affected again. Storm Eowyn followed in January 2025, the most powerful storm to hit the UK in over a decade, with gusts reaching 135 miles per hour. Around 1 million homes were left without electricity. Storm Dara in December 2024 brought a rare red wind warning and cut power to 170,000 homes. The damage from those storms is significant on its own. What turns it into a warning sign is the state of the defences. A leaked DEFRA report from September 2024 revealed that Environment Agency flood defence assets meeting acceptable condition had fallen from nearly 98% in 2018 to 92.6%. The agency missed its own maintenance target. That decline has put an estimated 203,000 additional properties at increased flood risk. The scale of that number becomes clear in context. The entire 6-year, £5.2 billion National Flood Defence Programme was originally intended to better protect 336,000 properties by 2027. That target has since been cut by 40% to 200,000. The number of properties put at increased risk by deteriorating defences is now roughly equal to the number the entire national programme aims to protect. A World Weather Attribution study found that autumn and winter storm rainfall in the UK has been made approximately 20% heavier by climate change. The defences were designed for weather patterns that no longer apply. The concern among engineers is not individual storms, but what happens when multiple systems fail at once. A flood that overwhelms a barrier, knocks out a substation, shuts down a rail line, and contaminates a water supply. Several of those failures occurred simultaneously during Storm Bert. The 7th warning sign ties the rest together. It explains why potholes go unfilled, bridges go unrepaired, leisure centres close, and streetlights go dark. The local councils responsible for maintaining much of this infrastructure are running out of money. Since 2018, 8 councils have issued a combined 12 Section 114 notices, the closest equivalent a local authority has to a declaration of bankruptcy. Birmingham, Europe's largest local authority, issued one in September 2023. Nottingham followed 2 months later. Woking, Thurrock, Slough and Croydon have all been through the process. In December 2024, Windsor and Maidenhead warned publicly that it was approaching effective bankruptcy. Nearly 1 in 5 councils are now estimated to be at risk of issuing a Section 114 notice. In 2024 to 25, the government granted 18 councils a combined £1.4 billion in emergency financial support. Almost half of English councils are expected to need similar support within 5 years. Between 2010 to 11 and 2017 to 18, central government funding for local authorities fell by an estimated 49% in real terms. Funding has partially recovered since then, but for most councils it remains well below 2010 levels. The costs they are legally required to cover, particularly adult social care and children's services, have risen sharply. What gave way first was the maintenance budget. Roads, bridges, buildings, the assets that deteriorate quietly until they fail visibly. That is the common thread across all 7 of these warning signs. None appeared overnight. The pipes have been leaking for decades. The roads have been underfunded for years. Hospital roofs have been patched repeatedly. Flood defences have been falling below standard while storms have grown stronger. Substations have been aging while demand has increased. And the councils that hold much of it together have been gradually running out of money. The Institution of Civil Engineers warned in 2025 that Britain's infrastructure is, in their words, perhaps not as safe as the public thinks. The National Infrastructure Commission said the window to close the infrastructure gap is closing. These are not campaigners. They are the government's own engineers and advisors. Infrastructure decline rarely looks dramatic at first. It looks like inconvenience, delays, leaks, cracks, repairs that never quite happen, until something fails badly enough that everyone asks how it was allowed to reach that point. The answer, almost every time, is that the warning signs were there for years. If you've noticed any of these warning signs where you live, leave a comment. This story varies significantly depending on where in the country you are. Subscribe for more detailed coverage of specific regions and specific failures. Thanks for watching.